What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Skynet Subohm tank. Alright guys, so today's random question of the day is very random. Is cereal soup? I want to hear from you guys right down there in the comments box. I mean, if you think about it, cereal does have sort of a soup-like quality. I mean, you could call the milk broth, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm just going to say no, cereal is not soup, but maybe that's just me. I want to hear from you guys right down there in the comments box below. So today's video is all about this guy right here. This is the Skynet Subohm tank from a company called Augvape, with a big huge shout out and thank you going to Augvape for allowing me to take a look at one of these devices for the purpose of making this video. So I've never been a huge sub-ohm tank kind of guy, but when I first started using the Skynet Subohm tank, I absolutely fell in love, and that's before I even took a look at the price point. So taking a quick look online, this tank comes in 3 different color options for you to choose from. You have stainless, black, and rainbow, and the best part of this whole deal is it's only $24. That is a hell of a deal. Really a good price point for a sub-ohm tank in my opinion. And if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I'll leave a link on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got our Skynet Subohm tank in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll talk about what's inside. So yeah, as you can see here, very straightforward, plain and simple packaging with this one here. Just a yellow background with Skynet Subohm tank right there at the bottom. You can see everything in this little domed piece of plastic. On the bottom there, we've got an Augvape logo. In fact, that is matched on all 4 sides. Lovely silver embossed Augvape logos. And on the back, we've got the pertinent information. We've got the specs. We've got the contents of the box, we've got some social media information and a QR code and the website right down there at the bottom. So let's get into this thing, see what we get. Well, wouldn't you know it, we get a Skynet Subohm tank. Don't worry, yours will not come pre-filled with liquid. I just never bothered emptying mine out. We've got a spare coil. However, this is a used coil because I used both of them in this situation here. We've got our spare glass section right here with the spare parts. You get the straight glass there and some extra O-rings and things like that. Pretty much straightforward. And that's it. That is, well, I just ripped apart the box. So as you can see, that is it. All right, guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, it's 24 millimeters in diameter. It holds 3.6 mils of juice with the standard glass and 5.1 mils of juice with the expanded bubble glass. It's made of superior stainless steel construction, Pyrex glass reinforcement, Augvape Skynet coil system with 0.15 ohm mesh coils rated for 60 to 80 watts, threaded top fill system, knurled triple adjustable bottom airflow, 810 wideboard drip tip included, detachable structure, and it has a gold-plated 510 connection. Alright guys, so let's go over this thing from top to bottom as we normally do, starting it off with the drip tip up top here. You get a nice frosted 810 clear acrylic drip tip. There you go, you can see that, with a nice wide bore and kind of on the chunkier side at the top. And you can see it follows all the way through right there. No O-rings on this thing whatsoever. So if you have anything similar like this Bonza tip here, you can just go ahead and pop that in and it fits no problem. So you can fit pretty much every 810 drip tip that you got on there, which is really nice. As you can see on the inside lip there, it's got a nice little O-ring which holds those in place. No problems with any drip tip that I've tried on here. And you can also see the bore right down the middle of that chimney. Taking a look at the top cap section, it has the Augvape logo engraved on it right there at the top, which is really nice. It's only a big chunky 1.5 threads or so, so it's about, you know, a half turn to take this top cap section off. And on the inside here, we can see this big chunky O-ring to prevent any leaking. The fill ports on this thing are very large in size, and I've never had any issues with every different type of bottle trying to fill this thing up, whether it's a glass stripper or a unicorn or a chubby gorilla bottle. No issues there whatsoever, and it is kind of recessed as well, so you're less likely to get juice up and outside the outer section here. However, it's flush with the inner chimney section, so it is a possibility to accidentally get a few drops down the middle. So here we're taking a look right down the middle of their Skynet mesh sub-ohm tank coils, and as you can see, this one's a little bit gunky. I actually used this one for about 3 weeks or so before changing it, and overall performance has been stellar. Really no complaints in that department. The flavor, the break-in time, everything like that has been amazing, and I still feel like this one had a couple more days left in it. But there you go, we've got a little bit of knurling up here at the top. That makes it a little bit easier to take the coil in and out. And as you can see, we've got these large fill ports on the side. Never had any dry hits or any issues with that. No spit back either. Really no complaints about these coils whatsoever. Here on the bottom we have our airflow section, which is of course fully adjustable. You can close it off all the way and it has a nice stopper to it, as well as fully open right there. It is a little bit on the stiffer side, so I would suggest, adjusting this thing before you put it on your device. However, I usually keep it wide open, so that hasn't been much of an issue for me personally. It is triple airflow, so it's very similar to the Falcon tank, and it has a nice smooth draw to it. Very natural feeling, no turbulence, and I really do enjoy it. And last but not least, on the bottom here we have designed by Augvape. We have our serial number right there and a gold-plated 510 pin. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about this Skynet Subohm tank. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of this video. Now let's talk about my personal opinions about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is mesh coils. This thing comes with 2 mesh coils, and that's something I absolutely love about it, because mesh is basically taking over the sub-ohm tank side of this industry, and that's not a problem with me because not only is the flavor better on mesh coils, but they also last longer as well. I got about 3 weeks of use out of one of these coils, and that's absolutely fine by me. My second pro for this one is that it comes with a bubble glass because it holds 5.1 mils of juice, and that is great because I can't stand filling my tanks a million times a day. With this one here, I'm filling it once, maybe twice a day tops, and that's about it. My third pro today is the wide bore drip tip. This one is compatible with 810 drip tips, which is awesome because I have a substantial collection of all different colors and style 810 drip tips, and I can use them all with this tank. And my fourth and final pro for this one is the price. You absolutely cannot beat $24 for a sub-ohm tank. You get a lot of value for your money with this one here. You get the bubble glass, you get the straight glass, a full set of O-rings, and 2 coils. So for me, that is absolutely perfect. 24 bucks, and you are out the door and vaping. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is that it leaks if you let it sit. Now, this is a problem not just with this tank, but pretty much all sub-ohm tanks, or at least the ones that I've tried recently. And with that, if you want to solve this issue, all you gotta do is just dump out your juice before letting it sit for more than 24 hours. And my second and final con for this device is the screw-off top fill method is kind of old school, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Obviously, this is a bit subjective, and you might not care, but personally, I feel like there are better ways of filling your tank, and that is the slide open locking technique, whereas this one here just kind of feels old school, but you really can't go wrong. And that's pretty much it for negative things I have to say about this tank. Really, I struggled and racked my brain trying to come up with some reason to not like this thing, but really, I have nothing else for you guys. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for review? Yes, yes, hands down, yes to this one all around. I think Augvape did an excellent job with this tank, and you should pick up 1 or 2 just to have in your vape collection in case you want a second or third flavor going at the same time, or if you want to bring out a cheap tank instead of a more expensive tank, this would be an excellent option for that as well. If you want to pick one of these up for yourself, the link is on my website. Link to that is right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave your comments down in the box below, and make sure you check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.